I think it's important for you as a volunteer to get your head around the fact that yes, I am dying of motor neurone disease, but I prefer to say that I'm living with motor neurone disease. I'm not fighting it. I won't win, but I'm living with it. So if you're worried about coming in and talking to me, do some exploring. Let's talk about things that I have opinions on. I really want to forget the motor neurone disease. I want to talk about life. That being tentative is there whenever you meet someone new. You know, what am I going to face? Who's going to open the door? What are we going to talk about? Will I like them? Will they like me? Am I going to really botch it up? And the only way of getting around that is to jump in, basically. If you find somebody boring, you haven't listened enough. You've offered a companion, and I've said, yes, that'd be really nice. And so on my side of the door, I'm thinking, well, I'm not too sure who's going to come in, how old are they going to be. Most probably I have some sort of an idea of who they are. So if someone's coming into me, there is an issue of, will it be okay? What will we talk about? The same sort of concerns that are on either side of the door, really. Just talk to me. Tell me what you're doing. Tell me about your life. Talk about, find out what I'm interested in. Who I know, who I don't know, what footy team I support. And just do a bit of exploration to find commonalities that we can talk about.
Do you want people to be happy around you all the time?
No, they don't have to be happy around me all the time. That's false. People who are too happy are a worry, quite frankly. Well, you sort of think they don't understand what's going on, don't you? No, I don't need people to hide their difficulties, but I think they do. I mean, maybe what they're doing is protecting me, or maybe they don't want me to see how unhappy and sad they are. I'll leave them to deal with that.
Yeah. But what if I say something that's going to upset you?
Well, let's deal with that when that happens. I'm not too sure that you will, or I'll just say something like, I really prefer not to talk about that. Look, I'm upset anyway. I've got motor neurone disease. I've got a terminal illness. That is upsetting. I don't know that you could upset me anymore. You might well upset me by not recognising me as a person and acknowledge the motor neurone disease and the limitations, but then move beyond that and start to, but I'm still living. I've still got things that I enjoy. Acknowledge my motor neurone disease, but then let's just talk about the other parts of my life which are of great fascination to me. My family, my music, my reading, my garden.
Do we ever talk about death and dying?
I would like you to. Talking about dying is something that I do. My family don't like it, but I've said to them, you need to listen to me about dying. You need to know that I don't want to live in a vegetative state. I know I've got a terminal illness. Now, for volunteers to talk about that, it's most probably more that I would raise it, that a volunteer wouldn't raise it. But if I raised it, then I would want some discussion about it. If it's not the day to talk about it, I will tell you. I'm pretty direct, and I won't go along with the volunteer's agenda to keep the volunteer happy.
So another thing is, though, I'm scared coming in that I'm going to get attached to you and then you're going to die, and I don't know, I'm worried about that.
I don't think there's anything I can do about that. I won't attach myself to you. You will be one of a number of people who come in and out of my life. As a volunteer, you're just one person who comes in. You're not my sole social contact. If you were, that could be dangerous, but you're not. And so I will enjoy the time we have together, and then you'll leave and I'll get on with my life. Now, if you become attached to me, that's going to be your problem, and it would be something that you need to really think about. Some people are easily attachable to other people. You're really quite happy when they cark it, but that's going to be your problem.
So what's my role? Like, why would you want me to come?
So I can be rude to you? Why do I want you to come? I want you to come to bring a bit of sunshine, a bit of challenge, a bit of conversation, a bit of humanity. Bring me some of your life. Tell me what you've been doing. Tell me about your family, what you've been doing, what films you've seen, what books you're reading. Let's talk about living. And that's what I want you to bring. I want you to bring conversation which is stimulating and interesting, sometimes challenging. That's what I want from you. And a bit of humour, yeah. And a bit of understanding as well, as much as you can understand someone who's in a situation that you're not in.
What am I going to do that's going to really annoy you?
I don't know until you do it. If you don't listen to me, that will annoy me. I'll tell you what will annoy me. If you are syrupy sympathetic, that's going to piss me off so much. It's going to really annoy me. I do not want sympathy. I want understanding that life is difficult, but I don't want sympathy. I dealt with someone who gave me sympathy, and it was like walking through treacle, and it was so wrong. I don't want you to feel sorry for me. And if I catch you doing it, I'll pull you up, because it's not helpful. It's not helpful. Yeah, I don't think your role is to feel sorry for me. Your role, and it's not to be falsely cheerful, it's to be a companion for the short time that we have together.
You're dying, and you're still working as a volunteer
Yep.
in the space of dying.
Yep.
Are you a glutton for punishment?
Volunteering is not punishment. It's engagement. It's intellectual engagement. I'm still engaged with living. I'm going to go back to it. I'm still living, and I enjoy it. Why would I stop my connection with EPC when I get so much back from it? I mean, it's very selfish. So I go toddling off to meetings, and I go off and visit the woman I'm visiting at the moment, and I love it. And so why would I stop?
But why would you volunteer in the space of dying when you're dying? Is that not too confronting?
I'm still living. I'm dying. I do not know how long I've got to live, but until I die, I'm living. And that while I'm living, I intend to be living, not just alive. I'm not clutching at the life that is slipping away from me, but I'm holding it really tightly. It's too important.
Why, though, would you give up your other volunteering roles in favour of this one? Why not save yourself some natural angst and heartache, and give this one up and just keep with those, because
this is my favourite. So my choice was to stick with Eastern Palliative Care. To be honest with you, I get more back from EPC. I'll tell you what, I feel more nurtured. I feel more appreciated. I feel more part of a team than I did in the other two. And I believed in them, and I enjoyed the work I did. But there's more for me in this.
Excellent.
All right.
Anything else from you, Madiri?
Yeah, I need to go to the toilet.
Film that on the...
This it. Yeah, and I'll tell you what, stay down this end of the room, because there's no way I'm going to move that frame into the shower recess and shut the door. So just stay down here. But if you choose to come down there, be it on your own head. That's all I have to say.
We'll stay down here.
I would. again, it's playing with your mind.
Yeah.
It is absolutely amazing.
Good whiskey though.
I beg your pardon?
What makes good whiskey? Because I'm not actually a whiskey.
No, stop. You'll have to go in backwards.
Why?
Oh, will you try it?
I'll try. Let me try.
What will happen?
Oh, Margaret, you
is
know
that
you know.
You will eject me onto the,
right.
and then you'll have to pick me up.
That was Crystal versus Margaret, and Margaret was
And
right.
Margaret won. Yeah.
Margaret knew.
Yeah. What makes good whiskey?
Yeah.
Complexity. I had an experience with a couple of women just recently. They gazed at me with such pity. I don't need your pity. The thing I think is to ask, what do you need? You know, where do you want me to put myself? Do you want me? My dear friends are saying, when you need help, ask me. Other than that, I'm going to let you struggle. When you need help, if you don't ask, I'm not going to give it, because even struggling is a form of independence. I think to ask what you need, it's really important. You know, do you need help up and down the stairs, or do you want to struggle? I'm finding it hard watching you struggle, but you seem to be intent on doing it, so I'll leave you. I think it's really important for people to realise that if they're feeling uncomfortable, that's basically their problem. My problem is to get around. My duty and obligation to my friends is to say to them, when I need help, I'll ask. If I don't ask, I don't need help. And if I'm struggling, look somewhere else.
So if you were talking now to like the health professionals and council people and all those people that you need help from, what would you want that group of people to know about people who are sitting in your situation right now?
Over the years, I have said, I feel very sorry for people who are in the system. They've got to tell their story over and over again. And here I am, doing the same thing. The woman from motor neurone disease sat down and said to me, what do you find difficult? Brilliant question, because until she knows that, then she's not going to be able to help me. It was a great question. They know where I'm going, and it's a really fine line between giving me advice as to what I should be thinking about and me picking up the sense that I'm being controlled. If I shift in my thinking to thinking they're controlling me, then I move into a negative territory, which isn't helpful. And in part, that's my responsibility. Mind you, having said that, the first OT who came in and talked about a ramp, and this is a long while ago, she walked in, she ran around the place. Look, she was very professional. She walked in with a tape measure, she measured the bed, she walked out, she said, oh, well, the bed's all right. Then she went into my brand new bathroom and said, well, the door will have to come out of that. And then she walked in and said, well, you'll have to build a ramp and you'll have to, and it was all, so this is what you're going to have to do. And I got my back up really quickly. The second one who came in said, do you think you could manage to rearrange that door so that it would accommodate a ramp? And it was a softer way of giving me room to move. And I was more open to it, yeah.
A couple of volunteers were full of pity. They were dripping pity, and I don't like that. Others greeted me with such joy, and we started talking about what I'd done, what I'd read, had I seen films. It's so important that I'm seen much more than motor neurone. I still enjoy music and reading, I want to talk about that. I want to think about current affairs. I want to have opinions and I want to have them heard. So to look at me as a piteous person, it's not right. And furthermore, it's not helpful. I do have down days. I had a view day a couple of weeks ago. I spent the whole day wallowing around in self-pity. I spread it everywhere. And then this friend came in and talked about gold, and it wasn't lift itself up. There are people worse off, but it was a reminder that there is joy. As far as volunteers are concerned, find out what I'm interested in. Talk to me about life and ask me how I am. Ask me how I am and what do I want to do. And if I want to be quiet, then to say, I'm happy with that, I'll sit quietly here and let you be. I don't need to be entertained, but I would like to be asked what I want to do and let me run the show a bit.
You've said that you want to be involved in conversations. So what would you say to volunteers who come in and see what you're dealing with and who may be thinking to themselves, oh, the things going on in my life are really not relevant and I don't want to be burdening Margaret with those kind of things. What advice would you give them?
I said, spill the beans, because I'm underneath all of this. I'm a sticky beak and I love stories, and if people are troubled, I would like to think I would listen. I don't want to focus on motor neuron disease. It's controlling enough. There are other things that I want to talk about. Yeah.
And you're still an active volunteer with EPC?
Yes, I am. I'm still coordinating the speakers. That I think will become increasingly difficult.
I guess my question is, with everything you've got going on, why are you still participating as an active volunteer?
Oh, because I love it. I really do. I have learned so much, and it's intellectually stimulating. There's a hint of giving back. I've had a blessed life, and it was always drummed into me that you gave back. I firmly believe that's what I should be doing.